The best at that was Noda. Noda practiced, when Noda practiced, he practiced hitting left to righters and right to lefters and low, high, whatever it might be. So he'd hit one out there in the woods, and he couldn't wait to go find that ball and see what he could do with it.
Mm.
I never, ever saw Noda whack himself in his foot with his club after he hit a bad shot. He'd burn a little bit, but he was just intrigued with the idea of what can I do with the shot? Because he could hit every kind of shot in golf. And he got up and down. I mean, back at Ohio State in the national championship, I mean, I saw him get up and down. I mean, just one shot, when I didn't know of a pro who could go in and in one shot hit that shot. Because he practiced all the time. So that was always a thrill for him.
Did he putt left and right both when he came here?
He didn't, no, not when he came here. But halfway through, after his redshirt year, got into that a little bit, and it was intriguing to watch him to figure out golf and really critically analyze his game, and what was good and what was not so good, and try to figure out where can I make up that shot or shot and a half a day so I can play with big time guys. And so when you analyze it, it always goes down to the putter. I mean, it goes that far. And then he got into that, and he had that old bullseye putter, and he had it flat out, so it was vertical both ways. And practiced by the hour. He's a great putter anyway, but he figured out the percentages of, you know, the guys, because you hear everybody, or not everybody, you hear a lot of people on TV. Johnny Miller said this a lot. Hey, this guy is never going to make this downhill left or right, or he's going to knock it 8 feet by the hole. And you think of the hardest putt in golf is a nice downhill left or righter. But now, from this standpoint, it's a different putt. And so he figured that out and went to work on it, spent hours doing that.
So it's a testimony in a way to his athletic ability, to his hand-eye coordination, that he could be a switch hitter on the greens.
Well, I never saw Noda play golf. I never saw him play golf till after I recruited him, ever. And but I'd heard about it, and the coach, John Fields, at the University of New Mexico, was really the guy who recruited Noda for me. And here, Noda came from, you know, right from next door to the University of New Mexico. John felt that Stanford would be a great place for him, and so that helped me so much. I saw him play basketball. I went down for my home visit when he was playing for the state championship in basketball. And I've coached basketball for quite a few years, high school and college, and I saw him go down the floor with the basketball a couple times. I said, "There she is, right there, boy."
Must have been a guard.
Very well.
At his height.
Oh yeah, if he'd have been 2 or 3 inches taller, he'd have played here at Stanford easy. I mean, he's a great player. And his shot went off from the hip down the floor, and you never knew whether it was coming out of there. And all of a sudden, here it came up, soft as a feather, and very competitive. Eyes were about this wide when he competed. Big black eyes back in there, you know, really concentrated.
Wasn't he a good friend of Tiger's?
Yeah.
Didn't they become good friends in junior golf or beforehand?
Yeah. And I'm sure that helped. Although I didn't know any of the particulars about that kind of stuff. In terms of recruiting Tiger, I kept my mind on the business. Didn't really leave a stone unturned.
You mentioned how Joel Kreibel could almost be concentrate too much, and that makes me think about the mental aspects of the game. Is that also something you would try to teach and work on with as well as the physical aspects?
You know, I don't know. I think that whenever I saw Noda play in a golf tournament with Timmy Herron, I saw the greatest golf. 2 inseparable friends, and both guys could really play. And did they ever have fun? I mean, playing on a college golf. They were free and easy walking down the fairway, no tension in them at all, encouraging each other, both on 2 different golf teams, but that's the way it should be. And I think there's a point in there, and I don't know that I really know where the point is with everybody, but there is a point in there where they have to have the freedom of knowing that I've practiced this enough that I know I can do it, okay? Because if they haven't practiced that much, then they shouldn't even try to do what they're trying to do, right? And so if you get them that far, well, that takes way too much time, so you've got to start in the short game so that, you know, I've made this 4-footer just hundreds of times, and I've hit this funky little shot with my pitching wedge, and I know I can get that ball up there to land salt when, you know, then there becomes a freedom, because now that takes all the pressure off the rest of the golf game, right? And you get to the point where you can really score, and you don't have to hit every tee shot in the fairway. This is a fun-loving bunch of guys.
Yeah.
I mean, when I made my first 2 or 3 trips with this bunch of guys, I realized, hey, try to just keep that under control, you know, because they were having such a great time, and it made it perfect. And one year they won so many tournaments, and they beat some teams so badly that.
Is there any maybe less well-known team or group that you have, you know, particular thoughts?
Yeah, Conrad's senior year. I thought that the performance those guys put on down there at Chattanooga was remarkable, and I think I had more coaches came up to me after that event and said, "Boy, what a hell of a job your guys did." It was a remarkable. It was Tiger, Conrad. Oh my God, Conrad, Tiger, Joel, Jerry, and David. David Garcia.
Good memory.
David Garcia. Unbelievable tournament. Jerry Chang shoots 80 in the 3rd round, and he comes over and he puts his arm around me. I'm sitting over there trying to figure this whole thing out. He comes over and puts his arm around me and says, "Coach, don't worry, I'm gonna shoot 68 tomorrow." Well, hey, Terry, you better hustle on down the range. Can I help you? He said, "No, I'll take care of it, Coach." And after 16 holes, oh, you've got a better memory for this, Conrad, than I do. After 16 holes, he was 3 or 4 under par.
Mm-hmm.
They hit the low round of your team the last round.
And didn't even, I mean, Tiger, I didn't even count him the last round. And then this guy's payoff, which I'll never forget, I've talked about it hundreds of times. 18th hole there is tough, and it's long, and down to the right of the green there's this jungle down there that you'd never send your worst enemy down there under any circumstances. And the whole hillside up there is packed with people. Conrad comes up and he mishits his second shot a little bit, knocks it over there in the jungle. And I'm sitting up there just praying, okay? And so he comes up and looks around like this. And I see some guy down there. It's not a lateral hazard or anything. He's down there, makes the practice swing, comes back up, looks around, gets back down there. And I hear this monstrous thrash. Here comes the ball out of there, and he wants it up there about 6 feet from the hole. The hillside erupts. And I thought, there's his payoff for 14 years.
Oh, there you go.
That's good. But that was a great trip for us, wasn't it? It was remarkable. Yeah, you guys finished 4th that year.
4th, yeah.
Very good round there.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that was some golf course.
You made the putt then?
I think I actually did make the putt.
No, you did make it.
For like 77 or 78.
No, but I mean,
Yeah, hard
it
golf
is.
course though.
It counted. I noticed the
Yeah.
scores are very high that week.
It counted, yeah. It's the
Oh,
hardest
yeah.
golf course to this day that I think I've ever played.
Yeah, because the rough, I mean, there was no shortcut.
Oh.
It was fairway, and then grass that had cured, about 2 feet tall.
Oh.
And you just hope to God you didn't find it. I mean, because if you found it, you couldn't hit it. It was tough golf course. Great experience.
Hmm.
So I think that was one of those years. Maybe the 3rd or so year here when it was Mark Funseth, and I'd known his father Rod pretty well, and I promised Rod that I'd try to take care of Mark, so that's why I tried to recruit him at Northwestern. And those guys were about their junior year, if memory serves, pretty close. They played really well down at New Mexico State in the West Regionals and came close. And it was like a couple shots. And it was really a great thing to see those guys, you know, come along and become, because they were great kids, fabulous guys, but they became, you know, a really good team. Another team where the camaraderie within the team was good. Steve White, those guys who were really fun.
It sounds like they were maybe less talented naturally, but really worked and got better.
Oh yeah, really, and not near the talent of the guys that came along after them. but they worked at it.